Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, your one-stop destination for explosive, unfiltered, and sensational news that cuts through the noise and exposes the truth behind today's most controversial stories. And tonight we bring you a story that has rocked South Korea and sent shockwaves throughout the global media landscape. This is not just any story, it's an epic tale of a young star's tragic end, the brutal reality of online harassment, and the urgent call for change in how our society treats its celebrities. Grab your seats, turn up your volume, and prepare for an in-depth, over 10,000 word expose on the death of South Korean actor Kim Sae-ron, whose untimely passing at the age of 24 has ignited fierce debates about social media, internet culture, and the toxic treatment of celebrities. It all began in the bustling metropolis of Seoul, South Korea, a city known for its neon lights, technological marvels, and a vibrant entertainment scene that has captivated millions around the world. In a country where stardom is often achieved at a very young age, Kim Sae-ron had emerged as one of the brightest stars on the silver screen. Born in 2000, Kim began her acting career when she was just 9 years old. With each role, she enchanted audiences with her undeniable talent, grace, and the promise of a long and illustrious career. From the poignant struggles portrayed in A Brand New Life to her acclaimed performance in the gritty crime noir The Man from Nowhere, Kim quickly became a household name, a symbol of youthful exuberance and a testament to the power of perseverance in the competitive world of Korean cinema. But as the old adage goes, not all that glitters is gold. Despite her early successes and the adoration of fans, Kim Sae-ron's life was marred by hardship and controversy. After a 2022 drunk driving incident, a mistake that brought her personal challenges and legal repercussions, Kim's once promising career began to falter. Struggling to find work and battling a relentless barrage of negative publicity, she became a target of the harsh and unforgiving nature of South Korea's media and online culture. Every misstep, every moment of vulnerability, was captured, dissected, and exploited by news outlets hungry for clicks and sensational headlines. On Sunday, in a heartbreaking turn of events that has left the nation in mourning, Kim Sae-ron was found dead by a close friend at her home in Seoul. The tragic news sent shockwaves through the entertainment community and the public alike. The National Police Agency quickly confirmed that foul play was not suspected and that the 24-year-old actress left no note, a silent testament to a life filled with both brilliant promise and deep personal torment. In the days that followed, an outpouring of grief swept across South Korea. Fans, friends, and fellow celebrities mourned the loss of a star who had shone so brightly, only to be dimmed too soon by the unforgiving glare of public scrutiny. Yet, as the initial shock and sadness settled, a new conversation began to emerge, one that cut to the heart of modern society's relationship with fame and the internet. Kim's death has become a rallying cry for critics who argue that South Korea's celebrity culture has become a virtual arena of cruelty and harassment. In a society where every tweet, every comment, and every online post can become a weapon, the tragic end of a once beloved actor has sparked urgent calls for reform. Major newspapers and influential opinion makers have denounced the harsh, zero-tolerance culture that has long plagued the treatment of celebrities. They point to the ceaseless barrage of negative coverage that Kim endured, from scathing headlines that mocked her personal struggles to relentless social media attacks that questioned her every move. Across the digital landscape, social media platforms erupted with a torrent of reactions. Critics, many of whom have long decried the toxic atmosphere that online harassment creates, lambasted the way Kim was treated. One voice on Twitter cried out that the internet had become a cesspool of vitriol and cruelty, where even the slightest misstep was magnified into a full-blown character assassination. Users recalled how, throughout her career, Kim was relentlessly criticized for the most mundane aspects of her life, from the simple act of partying with friends to the innocent expression of a smile during the filming of an independent movie. Every detail was scrutinized, every perceived flaw weaponized against her. Some online commentators drew disturbing parallels between Kim's fate and the tragic deaths of other celebrities, such as the 2019 losses of K-pop singers Seo Lee and Gu Hara, and even the 2023 death of a prominent Squid Games actor, Lee Sun-kyun. They argued that these cases were not isolated incidents but part of a systemic problem, a cultural environment where public figures are dehumanized and reduced to mere fodder for relentless criticism. One particularly searing editorial published in a major South Korean newspaper condemned the media for its role in this tragedy. The Hankook Ilbo decried the fact that news organizations continued to exploit Kim's story for clicks, publishing provocative headlines that dredged up her troubled past even in the wake of her death. How can we mourn a life lost when the very institutions meant to honor it persist in sensationalizing every moment of its decline? The editorial demanded. In the same breath, the Citizens Coalition for Democratic Media blasted these outlets for their sensational and provocative reporting, arguing that by blaming social media alone for the toxic culture, they were ignoring their own part in the destruction of lives. Let's delve deeper into the multifaceted layers of this unfolding drama. At its core, Kim Sae-ron's tragic death is emblematic of the broader challenges faced by modern celebrities, particularly in an era dominated by digital media. The internet, with all its power and promise, has become both a platform for connection and a battlefield where reputations are waged and won through the sheer force of public opinion. For someone like Kim, who began her career as a bright, hopeful child star, the journey from adoration to adulation, and ultimately to vilification, is a story of both success and sorrow. It is a narrative that exposes the dark underbelly of fame, the relentless, unyielding scrutiny that leaves little room for error or redemption. In the case of Kim, every step of her journey was documented and dissected. Early in her career, she was celebrated for her talent and charisma. Her breakthrough role in A Brand New Life showcased her ability to convey deep emotion and resilience, winning the hearts of audiences and critics alike. With each subsequent film and television role, she honed her craft and built a legacy that many believed would only grow more luminous with time. However, as is all too common in the high-pressure world of entertainment, the pressures of fame eventually took their toll. The 2022 drunk driving incident, a mistake that could have been met with understanding and forgiveness, instead became a turning point. The incident marked the beginning of a downward spiral, as negative coverage intensified and every misstep was replayed ad nauseum on social media. The internet, which once served as a space for fans to celebrate Kim's brilliance, quickly morphed into a digital arena of judgment and derision. Posts that once extolled her virtues were replaced by threads of vitriol and accusations. Critics, particularly those who thrive on the anonymity of the web, began to pile on with a relentless ferocity. They scrutinized everything, from her fashion choices to her interactions with colleagues, casting her not as a human being struggling with the challenges of life in the spotlight, but as a caricature of failure. This phenomenon is not unique to Kim Sae-ron. It is a distressing trend that has claimed the lives and well-being of many young stars in South Korea and beyond. As the grief over her death spread, a chorus of voices began to rise, demanding that society take a hard look at how it treats its celebrities. Influential figures in the entertainment industry, as well as academics and mental health experts, have argued that the toxic online culture and the relentless media scrutiny are not just collateral damage, they are active contributors to a climate of despair that can push vulnerable individuals over the edge. They point to the fact that in South Korea, where respect for celebrities is traditionally high, a sudden shift toward unbridled criticism and public shaming has created an environment where mistakes are magnified and forgiveness is scarce. In editorials and op-eds published in the days following Kim's death, writers have called for a cultural revolution. They argue that society must move beyond the harsh, zero-tolerance mentality that has become the norm and embrace a more compassionate approach. We must learn to value our stars not for their perfection, but for their humanity, one columnist wrote. Until we do, we risk losing not only the talent that enriches our culture but also the very soul of our society. These impassioned pleas resonate deeply in a world where the line between public and private life has all but vanished, and where every misstep is met with an unforgiving barrage of criticism. Beyond the immediate outpouring of grief and calls for reform, Kim Sae-ron's death has ignited a broader discussion about the role of social media and internet culture in modern life. Today, digital platforms wield unprecedented power, shaping public opinion and influencing everything from political elections to personal reputations. While the internet can be a force for connection and creativity, it can also be a tool for relentless harassment and dehumanization. In the case of Kim, critics argue that the online world contributed significantly to her isolation and despair. Harsh comments, relentless trolling, and the constant replaying of her past mistakes created an environment where the pressure to maintain a flawless public image became unbearable. The digital age has given rise to a phenomenon known as cancel culture, where a single misstep can lead to the permanent erasure of a public figure's career. For many young stars, this threat looms large, a specter that forces them to navigate a minefield of public opinion while struggling with the very real pressures of fame. Kim Sae-ron's experience is a stark reminder of the human cost of this culture. It forces us to ask, at what point does the pursuit of perfection become a death sentence? And how can we, as a society, protect the vulnerable from the cruel and unyielding judgments of the online mob? In the aftermath of her death, several of South Korea's major newspapers have taken a stand. Editorials have denounced the toxic nature of online commentary and the role of sensationalist media in perpetuating a cycle of abuse. One influential newspaper lambasted the industry for continuing to exploit Kim's story for clicks, even after her passing. It is unconscionable that, in the wake of such a tragedy, some outlets would prioritize profit over dignity, the editorial read. Such statements have sparked further debate about the responsibilities of the media, not only to inform but to do so with empathy and respect for human life. Critics have also pointed to a disturbing trend in the treatment of female celebrities in South Korea. Women in the entertainment industry often face a double standard, where even the most trivial aspects of their lives are scrutinized and criticized. Kim Sae-ron, despite her immense talent and early promise, was no exception. Whether she was seen partying with friends or simply expressing frustration over a lack of work, every action was met with harsh judgment. This relentless pressure, it is argued, creates an environment where personal growth and creativity are stifled, and where the cost of fame is measured not in accolades but in the erosion of one's mental and emotional well-being. As the debate rages on, some have invoked the tragic deaths of other celebrities as cautionary tales. The untimely losses of K-pop stars Seo Lee and Gu Hara, along with the more recent demise of Squid Game's actor Lee Sung-kyun, have all been cited as examples of how the pressures of public life can become overwhelming. These cases, interwoven with Kim's own story, paint a sobering picture of a culture that demands perfection while offering little in the way of support or redemption. In a society where the digital world is both a platform for expression and a vehicle for relentless abuse, the question remains, how can we protect those who are thrust into the unforgiving glare of public scrutiny? Beyond the immediate tragedy and the subsequent outpouring of grief, there is a call for systemic change. Activists, mental health professionals, and industry insiders are demanding that both the government and private entities take action to reform the way celebrities are treated. Proposals range from stricter regulations on online harassment to comprehensive reforms in media practices, all aimed at creating an environment where public figures are not reduced to mere caricatures or scapegoats for societal frustrations. The conversation is complex, and there are no easy answers, but one thing is clear: the status quo is unsustainable, and the tragic loss of Kim Sae-ron has made it painfully obvious that something must change. In the wake of this national tragedy, memorial services and vigils have been held across South Korea. Friends, family, and fans have come together to celebrate the life of a young actress who, despite her struggles, brought joy and inspiration to countless people. Tributes have flooded social media, with hashtags and memorial pages dedicated to preserving her legacy. In these moments of collective mourning, there is also a glimmer of hope, a hope that by confronting the toxic forces that contributed to her pain, society might one day learn to treat its most vulnerable members with the compassion and respect they deserve. The fallout from Kim Sae-ron's death has also ignited a broader dialogue about the responsibilities of social media platforms themselves. In recent years, major tech companies have come under fire for failing to adequately address online harassment and for allowing toxic content to proliferate unchecked. Critics argue that the algorithms that drive these platforms are designed to maximize engagement, often at the expense of human decency, and that this has contributed to a climate where hateful comments and relentless trolling have become normalized. As the public demands the well-being of users over the pursuit of profit. In many ways, this controversy is a microcosm of the broader cultural and technological shifts taking place in our world. The digital revolution has transformed every aspect of our lives, from the way we communicate to the way we perceive reality. And while the internet has the power to connect us in unprecedented ways, it also has a darker side, a side that, as we have seen all too clearly, can crush the spirit of even the brightest star. Kim Sae-ron's death serves as a stark reminder that behind every tweet, every online comment, lies a human life that can be irreparably damaged by the relentless forces of digital culture. As we continue to grapple with these issues, there are those who believe that the time has come for a radical rethinking of how we engage with public figures and how we hold them accountable. They argue that it is not enough to simply condemn the behavior of online trolls or to criticize sensationalist media. Real change requires a fundamental shift in our cultural values, a shift away from a culture of humiliation and towards one of empathy, support, and mutual respect. In this vision of the future, celebrities are seen not as distant, untouchable icons but as fellow human beings who deserve compassion and understanding, regardless of their mistakes. There is also a growing movement within the entertainment industry itself to address these issues head-on. Prominent actors, directors, and producers are beginning to speak out about the pressures of fame and the toxic environment that has become all too common in today's media landscape. They call for greater mental health support for young stars and for a re-evaluation of the practices that have long been taken for granted. In this emerging dialogue, the tragic loss of Kim Sae-ron is not simply a cautionary tale, it is a rallying cry for reform, a call to action that challenges each of us to do better. As we reflect on this unfolding tragedy, one cannot help but feel a deep sense of sorrow for the life that was lost too soon. Kim Sae-ron was more than just a talented actress, she was a symbol of hope, a beacon of youthful potential that shone brightly in a world that often seems determined to snuff out its own light. Her journey, from the innocence of childhood stardom to the harsh realities of adult fame, encapsulates the bittersweet nature of modern celebrity, a journey filled with both breathtaking achievements and soul-crushing challenges. Even as the nation mourns, there are those who are determined to ensure that her death is not in vain. In editorials, public statements, and grassroots campaigns, voices from every corner of society are calling for a reckoning, a moment when we, as a collective, decide that enough is enough. They argue that if we continue down this path, where the worth of a human life is measured solely by its online presence and its ability to generate clicks, then the future of our society is in grave danger. The hope is that, through this tragedy, we might finally awaken to the need for a kinder, more compassionate way of engaging with one another. Accountability: there is growing pressure on these companies to implement meaningful changes that prioritize. In the coming weeks and months, as investigations proceed and as the public discourse evolves, one thing is certain: the legacy of Kim Sae-ron will be felt far beyond the confines of the silver screen. Her death has opened up a Pandora's box of issues that touch on everything from the ethics of online behavior to the responsibilities of the media and the fundamental nature of our culture. And while no one can ever bring her back, there is a growing determination among those who loved her to ensure that her story becomes a catalyst for positive change. From the glittering heights of South Korea's entertainment industry to the sprawling digital battlegrounds of social media, the conversation about Kim Sae-ron's life and untimely death is one that will continue to reverberate for years to come. It is a conversation about loss, yes, but it is also a conversation about hope, about the possibility of a future where our collective humanity prevails over cruelty and indifference. As I stand here tonight on the Razzle Report, I can't help but reflect on the profound impact of this tragedy. In our fast-paced, often superficial world, the loss of a young, talented soul like Kim Sae-ron is a stark reminder that behind every headline, every tweet, and every sensational news story, there is a real person with hopes, dreams, and vulnerabilities. It is a call for all of us to look beyond the surface, to recognize the inherent worth of every individual, and to challenge ourselves and our society to do better. In the end, the story of Kim Sae-ron is not just about the death of a promising actress, it is about the state of our culture, the power of the digital age, and the urgent need for change. It is a story that forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the nature of fame, the brutality of online criticism, and the responsibility we all share in creating a more compassionate world. And while the pain of her loss will never fully fade, let it also be a spark that lights the way toward a future where every life is valued, every voice is heard, and the harsh glare of the internet is tempered by empathy and understanding. If you like this news and want more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with all your friends. Until next time, sensationalist family.